Hello everyone, and welcome to week number 3 of the year in World Trophy, where we're up against Dr. Slaking and his Bowland Bovines. He has a middle thing as a mascot. We're quite scared. I have played him once before, and that was in I actually think it was the first season of this league. And I brain farted, so I kind of want to, redeem that a little bit. Hopefully snag up the first one of the season. Also, I should probably mention, I did not upload last week's game at all, neither the Teambuilder. And that's simply because it was not a good game. Like, I have nothing against my opponent personally after this at all. But it was not a good game. It basically ended up being a 6-6 loss to me due to basically him stalling out my time. I was using a bit too much at the beginning and he took advantage of that. And it was a super frustrating game, and I didn't really want to provide it as content because I didn't think it wasn't fun to play. It wouldn't have been fun to watch, I'll be honest. I think he has it uploaded, so if you still somehow want to see it, you can see his side. I decided not to upload mine. So anyway, that's long story short with that. You can see his team above me. You can see Dr. Slaking's team. And I think, like, looking at our teams, there's not really any one of us that really has like a huge advantage with the matchup. We both kind of have some threats that can really go in and be super annoying for the opponent. And you can see his team, he has a Terrakion, who can hit like a truck. It's not a fun Pokemon. He has Mandibus, who can just be annoying. It can be thick and annoying, and you never really know which thickness it has. It can be thick all over the place. He has Toxtricity, who hits incredibly hard on everything if it gets a free hit off. He has a Raccoonie, which has I was about to say the rocks, that would have been busted. It has the webs, which could prove to be a little bit annoying if you ends up bringing it, and, water typing is pretty good, so, He has a Cloyster, who can Shell Smash and destroy my team. He has a Raja, who can, it's one of the things that can stop things like Ninetales on my team and be a little bit annoying there, and he can also take hits from, like, physical Dragapult, obviously. He has a Whimsicott, and Whimsicott can just be a nuisance, like a fast nuisance, and it can also hit hard. Like, if you throw specs on Whimsicott, suddenly it does a lot of damage, and it's not fun to deal with. He has Rotom, who can kind of, pivot around. You don't really... the thing is, with Rotom, the regular Rotom, you don't really see it as a huge damage dealer, because the forms do more, but it can actually hit pretty hard. Like, just being honest here, it actually can. Claydol is Claydol, and he has Rapidash, which I approve of because it's a horse. But looking at it, I'd be surprised if he brings Claydol and Rapidash. I don't really know what they would do. I don't think Rapidash doesn't really have the speed so fully to probably be here and can kind of get stopped. And Claydol, I think, like, for Rock, I think Copperajah does it better than Claydol does, personally, so I would be more expected to see that. So basically, like, those two kind of out. And it's kind of, to me, like, he brings Terrakion, because it's so good and it's such a good wall breaker. And he can either have it like SD, he can have a Scarfer, he can have Choice Bandit, and it'll all be a problem no matter what. Mandibus he probably also brings because it gives him a very good switching into things like Special Dragapult, for example, or Physical, depending on how it goes. It can be a little bit annoying for Obstagoon to kind of deal with. It can help against Bronzong, It can switch into a lot of things. It can switch into Vaporeon also. And Vileplume. Like, it can be very annoying for my team to deal with. Toxtricity hits super hard. And I would be a little surprised if he doesn't bring it, but to me it would kind of... He doesn't bring Toxtricity if he brings Rotom and the opposite, so it kind of ends up being like kind of what... Because the thing that I notice is that when you have Dragapult on your team, everyone is going to bring a Scarfer that outspeeds you. So he's... If he values Rotom as a Scarfer, he probably won't bring Toxtricity, but we kind of have to see. And it's kind of the same with the water types. Like, he's either going to bring a Raccoonie with the webs and the bulk, or he's going to bring the Cloyster with the threat of setting up a Scale Smash and sweeping my team. And then Copperajah and Whimsicott probably. So it's like between those, with the two water types and the two electric types, whichever one comes. Which we have to somehow find a way to deal with. And the way of doing that, first, is with a Choice Scarf Vaporeon. Yes. I mean, if you've been here before, I have used Vaporeon in another league. And Vaporeon, you think of it as being a very good, like, defensive pivot thing. It has 110 base special attack. And if you don't look at if you don't look at a wreck when it, then look at just like water spam and ice spam against this team. It does a lot. Like, and with True Scarf, we should basically outspeed everything on his team that isn't Scarfed itself, because we outspeed a Whimsicott that's speed creeping and Ninetales, so we can go in and we can pop the Whimsicott before it can do anything. We can pop a Terrakion with Hydro Pump, which could also be quite nice. And while we may not one-shot most of the rest of his team, we can do quite a lot. Barring probably a wreck when it. Like, Cloyster can also take a hit, but it doesn't really want to, because Cloyster has an absolutely booty special defense and doesn't really want to risk taking a Scald and get it burned. So we kind of have that going. So Howl could be quite nice as a wall breaker. It's probably not going to be like, I don't see Howl being the, you know, win conditions towards the end, but like kind of a breaker like early mid game to kind of really get his team worn down for the rest of my threats, which includes Alfred the Dragapult. Don't ask me how I make up my names you don't want to know. Who's also quite fashionable. He's also holding a scarf. And the reason he's holding a scarf is because, as I said, Cloyster, Shell Smash, we outspeeded a +2, which is quite nice. The reason why we are then mixed is because Dragon Darts, you know, does a good chunk, and Mandibus becomes a problem for us if we are fully special. But we also need to hit the Cloyster. It's why we're Scarfed, it's why we have it, and we don't do that physically very well. We actually need Thunderbolt to do it. Which is why we ended up being naughty. So with Alfred is such a naughty dead dragon. It can hit it quite hard. So we can basically pivot around. We have Dragon Dust that can do a lot of damage to a lot of things. We have Thunderbolt specifically for the Cloyster. And then like looking at it, it was kind of like, do we go Shadow Ball or do we go something else? Because when you look at Thunderbolt and Dragon Darts, there's two things that you don't hit at all, which is basically Copperajah and this Whimsicott. Which is why I end up going Flamethrower, because then we at least have something for those. If we can predict them coming in, we can, you know, basically pop them for a good chunk, because, you know, we have a base 100 special attack and we have a little bit of investment, nothing crazy. We are mostly physically invested because it made more sense overall. But we can do a lot to a lot of his team, and this is one of the things that may be able to come in late game and clean the deal for us. We have to see. Next up, getting a little bit more bulk on the team, we have Rotom Heat, because Rotom Heat is actually a very good pivot against his team. Like, you know, Fire Electric hits pretty hard. The Terrakion is the primary thing that's scary together with the Cloyster for this thing. But the rest, like, we can kind of, and the water types, but at least we're faster than them when we hit them hard. At least the wreck when it. We can hit hard, and it gives us a switching into electric attacks, at least from Toxtricity. We can switch into Copperajah, that's why we're actually so defensive as we are. We can switch into Whimsicott, we can switch into Rotom, we can take on the Rapidash if he for some reason brings it, and also kind of take a hit or two from the Claydol, although that's not really our main answer for it, but you know, we can still do it. We can pivot around, we can overheat, we can defog, because again, he has webs, and webs could be super inconvenient against our team, and we don't want to be in that situation. No. And Pace to kind of get health and give us a bit more longevity, because right now, obviously, VAPOREON does not have Wish, so we can't really support the team that way, so instead we have to do it ourselves, and Rotom can do that quite well. Next up, we didn't have our offense enough, so we bring the third, you know, choice user, and that is Alola Ninetales. And, you know, she's wearing those beautiful, beautiful glasses that can make her hit like a bloody truck. Because, you know, Terrakion doesn't really want to take a Moonblast. Mandibus doesn't really want to take any of my hits. Toxtricity don't appreciate a Blizzard. Two water types don't appreciate Freeze Dry. I mean, okay, honestly, Cloyster doesn't appreciate anything. Copperajah, you may think, can take hits okay. And, you know, it can take two, yes. But Blizzard, if he is not special defensive or have a Assault Vest or something, it is actually a free shot. So we have that going for us. And, you know, Whimsicott doesn't really want to take a hit either, especially not the ice ones. Rotom doesn't want to take hits. Claydol doesn't want to take hits. Rapidash does, but again, I don't really expect Rapidash to come. And if it does, you know, my loss is not the bulkiest pony in the world. So basically, we just need a stab. So I I'm never going to click the last move, like let's face it. But I throw on Veils just in case for some reason. That's what makes sense at the end. Then we have that at least that we can, you know, last ditch effort click. And maybe it can save us. Maybe I'll never click it. Probably the last one, but we have it just in case. And now, you know, we have 4 very, pretty offensive Pokemon. We need some more bulk. So we are debuting Stunfisk this season. We're not being Assault Vest, mostly for the Toxtricity, because Toxtricity hits so hard, and like I was looking at just like fully special defensive, but we left it wasn't protected and such. Toxtricity 2-shot with Boom Burst. It was max special defense, and Stunfisk has a very good HP, pretty darn good special defense, and it was still 2-shot, and it was absolutely dumb, at least like if it was specs. So, you know, that was kind of a little bit unpleasant, not really what we wanted, so, you know, end up throwing AV on it. And again, that also did affect our last pick, but you know, with AV, we just threw coverage on to basically hit his whole team pretty well. So like, we have Discharge, hits a good chunk, can paralyze. Power hit the things that we don't really hit with Discharge, like Toxtricity, you know, switching forward. Couple Radio we hit Terrakion, you know, we hit a lot of things well, and we have Sludge Bomb for the Whimsicott, and we had Score for the Claydol. So, you know, it hits pretty well, and it's kind of here to sponge some hits, basically. Because we ended up going with Stunfisk, being Assault Vest, we ended up going with Clefairy as the last Pokemon. Because it was either that or Vileplume to kind of help take the hits from the Terrakion. And, you know, Vileplume was just a little tad bulky and could have had, you know, Black Sludge, which could have been nice, and it could have strength up and generally just be pretty annoying. But Clefairy gets Wish to kind of help heal up the Stunfisk. It can also help with Rotom. If for some reason something happens, it can help with, you know, Vaporeon still has a good natural bulk, so it can also help there. With Soft Boy, we can heal ourselves. We have Stealth Rocks, and we have Moonblast to just, like, go in and do a little bit of damage. Nothing crazy, we don't do a lot of damage, let's face it. But we can set up rocks, and we can be annoying, and basically this thing is just here to support the rest of the team, while being able to sponge some hits from the Terrakion. So that's basically the team we're working with. Hopefully it can go in and it can do some work. We'll have to see, but you know, the actual game goes up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep cool. Bye.